Hi everyone, welcome back. I was a bit energetic for 11 o'clock at night, wasn't it? Welcome back to the Rangers Review post-match briefing. We're here to just briefly discuss, pardon the pun, Rangers 2-0 win over St Johnstone. We'll do it in more detail on the morning briefing tomorrow. Relatively routine for Rangers, so I thought weren't great, but equally did enough. St Johnstone had some caused Rangers some issues with their pace up top, Chris, but largely John Suter was able to cover it. The main talking point from the game being that Václav Černý got 2 goals and looked good. James Tavernier finally played in the right wing, which I'm sure we'll save for the podcast tomorrow morning. But I think that's fair. I mean, Yanis Hagi also came back. Great assist and then a red card, maybe a bit keen to impress. But that's how I saw the game. I thought Rangers are fine, a bit slow in moments, got the job done. And that's all we'll say about it, really.
Up the road, good night. Thank you for joining us. I think that sums it up. It was a game that Rangers certainly deserved to win. I think it was a game that was always going to take a moment like the one that Černý produced for that opening goal. A nice nutmeg, a really accomplished finish. If only could do that more often, then people perhaps wouldn't be giving such a hard time at present. I think it was always going to take a moment like that just to keep breaks St Johnstone. Once Rangers go ahead, it's very hard to see St Johnstone coming back into it. As you say, they did have their moments, but at 1-0, it's a long way back for them. At 2-0, the game's done. I don't think there's much more to read into it. I don't think the manager will be taking too much from it, apart from another clean sheet, obviously, which is a decent run apart from Thursday night. It's 3 points. That's a game that just had to pick up 3 points, so they had to get that gap back down to 5 heading into the break. I don't think we really learned much more about a lot of them. Good to see Yanis Hagi back. Really nice assist for the second. Brief. I think his challenge, you can't really have any complaints. The manager also just held his press conference here and he's spoken about it. Obviously, watch that on the channel. You can read it on the website, and I think he calls it very fairly.
It's the reddest of red cards.
No, but I think he's called it fairly. And Yanis, he's not going out to. It's not it's a forwards challenge, to use one of the great Scottish football cliches.
Is he not that type of player?
He's not that type of player. He is not that type of player. He's not that type of boy. But it's rash. He's caught him in a really sore bit. Actually, the clip came back on the TV as we're waiting for the manager to come in, and everyone almost went, "Oh!" and they winced at the same time. So you can have no complaints. I think, as you said, he's trying hard. He's trying hard to impress. He's overstretched. It's a red card all day, every day, regardless of what time of kickoff we're playing at. It's a red card, and it's a shame because we've spoken a lot about him over the course of the summer in the last couple of weeks. It was good to see him back. I think he can bring something. As I wrote in my analysis piece, having him and Barrie on the pitch at the same time could offer potential solutions for Rangers. But obviously that's something that's going to have to wait for another couple of weeks down the line now, unfortunately.
And they're going to need those solutions because Clement said that Cortez's injury, he just said long term at the very end of his press conference, which isn't good news. He said that Ridvan and Danilo he expects to have back in training, and citing the end of the next international break as when that could happen full term, although Ridvan obviously has been involved in parts of some sessions. But that's probably how Rangers are going to have to play, with Chefty high on one side and Bajrami and Hagi and others moving in field from the left, because I think James' comment sums it up well. And Clement actually said this in effect about Ross McCausland. He said for his reason about substituting him at half-time, he liked his energy, but effectively didn't give him enough of the incisive actions that Černý did on the other side. James says cutting edge up front needs massive improvements, and I think that's probably fair, Chris, because Černý, who did a really interesting press conference which people will be able to watch tomorrow, discussing his goals, and I won't give too much away, but that was what he is supposed to bring to Rangers, which is a cutting edge, and especially the second action, he's not predictable, he takes it early. I still think that he could probably do with a bit of pace and power around him, especially because if you look at how Rangers are playing with the right winger attached to the flank and the left back now, giving you width on the left-hand side, because Tavernier isn't overlapping, it can make Černý, I think, a bit predictable. We've not seen him go on that right foot all that often. Tonight he was able to, and obviously gets his first goal, which was really nice after after drifting inside. But we'll move on to the topic of the right-hand side, because I think we agree that the play was decent middle to front, a bit slow, and the final third is where Rangers' season is going to be won or lost, and they need to improve there. The right-hand side, James Tavernier moving up was interesting. Clement in his press conference said it was slightly circumstantial, might happen at other points, kind of said that he's got a lot of qualities going forward. I can't believe we've been talking about this after all these years. But the point I want to make to you, Chris, is that I thought Casemiro came on and looked really accomplished. So it's not to say that Tavernier necessarily had a bad game. I think these games probably suit him a bit more when it's at Ibrox and Rangers have more of the territory. But I'd like to see more of Casemiro in that position.
I'd like to see Dujon Sterling in that position as well. I'd like to see Casemiro in there. I'd like to see James Tavernier back to something resembling his best. I feel the third option is the one that's least likely, unfortunately. I thought Tav was fairly solid, fairly steady today. It wasn't spectacular. Slightly unlucky with the free kick early on, just takes a nick off Nicky Clark, I think it was. Apart from that, I say solid, steady. Interesting that he is now being put into different areas. The manager is trying these things. Phil has clearly been watching the show. How many times has this come up? I don't wish to label these people as Rangers dads. It seems how I now am one, but a lot of people have been a big fan of this idea of moving Tav further forward for a long time. I think I just asked the manager about it. By the way that he answered it, I don't think it's going to be some tactical spark. He's not suddenly had an idea thinking, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to start playing Tav at right wing. But I think it does give him that particular option. And the good thing is there are certainly options at right back. So we remain to see how good Dujon Sterling is in there. Casemiro, I think we both like in there. So it's nice to have that option, but I don't think it'll be a long-term solution. I think the Rangers do have issues in the final third. They do have issues with their wide players. I don't think we'll see Tav being the kind of one-size-fits-all answer to it.
No, but you need to rotate him at some point, and that's what we've not seen before the two international breaks. It'll be interesting to see what happens next. What else is there to talk about? What else happened? Cherney, we've discussed him. Hagi, we've discussed him as well. I guess just to go into Nico Raskin briefly, because we'll discuss him more in the morning briefing tomorrow as well. I thought that was the best he's looked in a while in a kind of unremarkable way, and he tailed off for the last half hour. He earned a yellow card actually when he held onto the ball too long, gave it away, and had to kind of commit a tactical foul. It was interesting that Connor Barron didn't come on in the number 6 position but stayed in the number 8 position, and again Clement spoke about that, replacing Diomande in his press conference after the game. That's where I think he should play, because we'll discuss this more maybe during the international break. I have a new theory about why Diomande's maybe looked a bit off at points, and I think if you look at that role, the kind of number 8 right-sided role, you're doing a lot of off-ball running, a lot of creating space for others. You're maybe not getting the ball as much as Diomande would like. I think he's averaging about 40 passes to Barron's 60 in the Scottish Premiership. I thought Raskin, in terms of winning the ball back, was good. He only gave the ball away, I think it was 2 times out of 36 in the first half. Is that a position we could see him in more? Because I almost feel like you'd be better moving Barron up and putting Raskin in there at points, as opposed to keeping Barron there all the time and putting Raskin higher up the pitch, where I don't think he's looked comfortable under Clement.
I think the main thing to take from tonight, for if you're Nico Raskin, it's game time, it's minutes, because that's why he has been really short of, regardless of whether it's a 6 or a 8. That's clearly the positions that he's trying to get in this side. I think if everyone was fit, very few people would have Nico Raskin as a starter in any of those positions. It's Barron, it's Diomande, it's going to be Bayrami at 10 if possible. But over the course of the campaign, Nico will need to play a part. So I think it's important. The manager speaks a lot about minutes and conditioning and game time and getting people back up. I think the fact he was able to get that under his belt tonight, on the back of coming off the bench on Thursday night, coming off the back of getting the start last week, it's small steps for Raskin. I thought overall it was fine, not outstanding, but it wasn't really a night where he was going to be outstanding. And
sometimes as a number 6, you probably should be.
Sometimes that's just fine.
Steady, yeah.
If you can do your job effectively and efficiently, you're looking for players further up the pitch on a night like tonight when Rangers have a lot of the ball. It's about breaking teams down. Nico Raskin's not really going to be a game changer. He's not going to be your match winner because of where he's operating. You're looking at Bairami, you're looking at Dessers as your number 9, you're looking at what you're getting from the wider areas. In years gone by, you've been looking at Tav at right back. Number 6 in games like this, it's not really going to be a position or a performance that wins or loses the game, but it can be quietly effective in its own right. And I think Raskin was really quietly effective tonight.
Yeah, listen, we'll leave it there. We'll be on, the two of us with Derek in the morning to discuss the game in a little bit more detail and get through some more of your comments as well. But until then, loads of coverage for you in the Rangers Review to come today and tomorrow. Thank you for joining us. We're going to get out of Ibrox because I think we might be the last people here. But until then, thank you as ever for joining us. We'll speak to you tomorrow morning, and bye for now.